What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Prodigy and welcome to another video on the channel. Today guys, we're going to be talking about something that I only really talked about in passing during my Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND discussion that I made right after the trailer came out. I never went too in depth on this topic because I personally didn't really care too much for it. It was kind of just something really cool for the people who did want it. And of course, you can guess by the title, we're going to be talking about the new playable characters that are going to be a part of Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND, and some speculation about how other characters could possibly be playable. So for those of you that aren't completely caught up with Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND, which in that case, then boy, you have missed out on some stuff. During the Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND trailer, on top of a lot of lore stuff, we got some epic gameplay trailers with Sora using the Oathkeeper Keyblade, and with Roxas, Riku, and Aqua being shown to be playable in their respective Keyblade graveyard fights, which is something that a lot of fans did want going into Kingdom Hearts 3, and a lot of fans have been asking for recently. Because throughout the Darkseeker saga, we've grown attached to a lot of different characters. We've played a lot of different characters, included being Roxas, Aqua, Riku, of course, and many more. And there were a decent amount of people that didn't want Keyblade Graveyard to be solely Sora. Even though me personally, I prefer to play as Sora in Kingdom Hearts, I understand why a lot of people wanted those segments to have like their characters be playable, because it kind of does make sense that way. Like having Roxas fight Sayax, having Riku fight Dark Riku, having Aqua defeat Vanitas and Terranort. It makes a lot of sense to have those characters fight in those moments. Nomura's reasoning for not doing that to begin with was because he felt like the pacing would have felt very off, I guess you can say, if Sora wasn't playable in those segments, because I'm guessing from his point of view, he would have went a very long period without playing as Sora, especially since in these death scenes, quote death scenes, Sora is the main one interacting with them. So I guess from his perspective, it would have messed with the pacing and his plans a little bit. But still, despite that though, it seems like he figured out a nice way to include the other characters to be playable anyways. It seems like Sora is still going to be involved in some of these segments as well. Like as you can see here in the Riku playable moment, Sora is actually your party member, which is very interesting because in this segment he's Riku's party member, but in the Roxas, Axel, Xion fight, he's nowhere to be found. And of course it makes sense for that fight to be the Days trio, but I really wonder, like, if you are able to have Sora in your party in that situation as well. It definitely sounds very interesting. And it also brings up a very interesting topic as well, because you can see Axel is playable during this moment when he usually isn't playable during this moment. Usually it's just Sora, Roxas, and Xion fighting, Sayax. Axel was kind of on the sidelines during this fight, but it seems like he's going to be fighting as well. So I wonder if they're going to add some extra cutscene or some edited version of the cutscene in the actual game when Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND comes out. It definitely makes you ask some questions. But the reason I bring this up is because it seems like it's very easy for them to make these characters playable, and it's very easy for them to put X character in your party. And it makes me think, are all of them playable possibly? Like, do you have the option to play as Xion and Axel if you wanted to, even maybe playing as Kairi in like the earlier segment? I don't know. Or do you have the option to play as Ventus during this Keyblade Graveyard fight? It's really just very interesting because it seems like all they really did was move around slots. Instead of Sora being playable, the player is now controlling Roxas. Instead of Sora being playable, the player is now controlling Riku. Because Sora is still actively in your party and is still doing what seems to be the same moves that the player would have equipped at that point. And if you look inside the Ultimania, which actually I've just bought very recently, you can see from some pictures that I've taken that the characters actually have like their own health, MP, etc. So it seems like these characters all are made to be playable, or they could be playable if they wanted to. They have HP, they have the MP. I don't know what this other stuff is like below the HP and MP, but I'm assuming that's like AP ability stuff. I don't know, someone can translate it. It's just really interesting that it seems very easy for them to flip that switch to make these other characters playable, because according to Nomura, this isn't really part of the other DLC packs or packs within ReMIND. ReMIND is one big pack, but there's like separated parts, I guess, of the DLC. We have the limit cut episode, the secret episode, and then we have the additional scenario. He says in this ReMIND trailer that most of the stuff is from the additional scenario, which makes sense because these additional scenarios are, well, additional scenarios. They're just different perspectives of what actually happened in the main story, or different ways to experience what happened in the main story. They don't seem to be adding any crazy new content or anything, which doesn't devalue these parts at all, because it still just makes them very cool, because they're giving a lot of players what they wanted and making Roxas, Aqua, and Riku like playable. And I really hope that other characters like Ventus or Kairi or Axel will be playable. Me personally, I would really love to play as Axel. Like Axel, he looks like he has some combos going on. He looks like he has some pretty interesting abilities. It seems like he has his like old weapons kind of infused into his Keyblade, and I just really like that. So him being playable would just be really cool. And Kairi, even though we'd only be able to play her for like literally 2 seconds, I still think it would be pretty cool to play as her as well. And although it's safe to assume that these moments right here are going to be the only moments where these characters are going to be playable, I would take a guess and say that Riku and Mickey are very likely to be playable in the Triple Xehanort fight that takes place after most of these fights. Like, they really didn't have to do this. Like, this wasn't something that I was expecting in Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMIND per se, or this wasn't anything I was anticipating rather, because I knew they were going to do a Keyblade Graveyard rework. I actually covered this like slightly before the ReMIND trailers came out. Like, so those of you who've been following the channel, following the Ultimania news, following like the news train in general that I've been giving to you guys, you probably expected some of this stuff to happen, but still, to the point, like, this didn't need to happen, but it still did. Like, personally for me, I was looking the most forward to more bosses in ReMIND. Like, take what they did with Dark Inferno and multiply that. Like, that's what I was like hoping for a lot. I wasn't expecting them to really make the other characters playable. I didn't think that's what the Keyblade Graveyard rework meant. I thought they were just gonna add some bosses, maybe do some data fight thing, I don't know, which they still could do, because apparently this trailer showed very, very minimal of what ReMIND is actually gonna have like in full, because they still haven't showed the limit cut episode or the secret episode. All they really showed was the free Keyblade we're going to get and the additional scenario stuff. So there's still a lot more to come, and I don't necessarily know when we're going to get the next trailer, but I do have my ideas. I do still hope that we don't get too many trailers, because I feel like at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3's life cycle, Square Enix did go a little too ham with their trailers. Like, they were just dropping spoiler after spoiler after spoiler, and while we didn't know the context to every situation, we still knew like these select situations were going to happen, and that does take away from the moment just a tiny bit. So I hope that for the more story side of the ReMIND trailers, that they don't go too deep in like they did last time before Kingdom Hearts 3 was released. I'm more so into what they have to do in terms of gameplay when it comes to trailers, because the story stuff, I know I'm going to be very excited for. I'm already excited for it, and I want that to be as much of a surprise as possible. They did a good job like giving us just little teasers in this trailer, like the stuff with Luxord and the stuff with Young Xehanort and the Master, which Nomura, by the way, I can officially say that you lied when you said the Master of Masters wasn't going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3, because technically he's going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3, so haha. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share the video with a friend or family member, and last but not least, if you have not already and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is hit that red little subscribe button down below. Also, leave a comment down below telling me what you guys think about like the playable characters that are going to be part of ReMIND. Do you think I'm right when I say that there's probably going to be even more playable characters than there already is to be shown? Tell me who you're excited to play as the most. Just interact with me in the comment sections a little bit. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.